Blacksmith Ryan Johnson has been fascinated by tomahawks since he was 10. He's an expert at hand-forging detailed replicas, like this so-called spike tomahawk, an aggressive weapon with machismo flair.
It's strictly a killing tool. This really doesn't have much practical application for chopping wood or clearing brush or things like that. It's strictly something to strike with. The spikes were typically used to strike in the head and body blows with the blade.
The misconception persists that tribes use tomahawks to scalp their enemies. The truth is they did that with their knives. A scalping knife had a blade more suitable for slicing, making the tomahawk the wrong tool for the job. Some tomahawks, however, did come in handy for a less grisly activity: smoking.
You could put tobacco in the pipe end of the axe, and then the shaft was used for smoking. This is a mouthpiece, and you could literally smoke this tomahawk. You think, well, who's the person that thought of making a pipe tomahawk that you could smoke? But it makes sense if you think about the time and the culture. The culture was a very tobacco-oriented culture, very axe-oriented culture. Most people who are out in the woods, in the field, they carried an axe, they carried a pipe. It combined two things that they were already carrying. Plus, this was a much more durable pipe than what was available.
The pipe tomahawk became a coveted ceremonial item. Many Native Americans posing for photographs wouldn't have their picture taken without it.
The tomahawk became such a useful, universal tool that it lost its sex appeal as a weapon.
But the tomahawk gained new favor as a military weapon in the 20th century. During the Vietnam War, some 4,000 American soldiers wielded updated non-standard issue tomahawks, designed by World War II combat veteran and founder of the American Tomahawk Company, Peter Lagana.
Tomahawk was strictly a piece that soldiers bought on their own. The last time it was a standard issue item for Army was in the War of 1812.
In Vietnam and subsequent conflicts, American soldiers have reportedly used such tactical tomahawks almost exclusively as tools, not weapons.
Party that out.
Still, the enthusiasts currently selling them to service personnel outside of government channels promote them as deadly effective, both in hand-to-hand combat and as throwing weapons. In the spring of 2001, a request from a friend in the armed forces put Ryan Johnson on the path to improve the technology of the tactical tomahawk.
He wasn't interested in a historical reproduction. What he wanted was a modern-day tomahawk. He wanted a battlefield tool.
The old-school blacksmith turned to 21st century forging techniques to hammer out a one-piece, all-steel tomahawk.
Yeah, it's a long way from the original as far as how it's made.
A 4,000-pound power hammer bangs out 2 tactical tomahawks at a time.
As he moves across the die, the tomahawk takes shape from a round bar to a large plate with 2 tomahawks nested in it. Then they're punched out into a large punch press.
These tomahawks are made of hardened tool steel, well suited to holding their edges. Each has a forward blade for cutting and chopping, and a spike on the rear, capable of deadly penetration.
This helmet's made out of some of the toughest stuff that we have, Kevlar. It'll stop about a 9mm bullet, and I've just punctured it with this tomahawk.
The beard of the tomahawk is also sharpened, making it lethally effective in close-quarters combat.
You could actually hit somebody on the side of the neck with it, at this location, and then use the beard, pulling it toward you, to sort of rake them into you. You're also going to puncture the skin, the back of the neck, and if you do it hard enough, you could possibly kill somebody right away.
Armed with a tomahawk, a combatant could quickly disable a vehicle by puncturing tires and smashing through windows. The can opener effect of the tactical tomahawk's sharp beard brings new meaning to the term forcible entry.
You look at the cutting edge, you look at the spike, as much punching through as we've done, it's just not that much damage to it.
Like their Vietnam-era predecessors, these tomahawks aren't standard issue. But servicemen who buy them find they carry the same intimidation as they did 250 years ago.
These axes are being carried in areas of the world where they're blade cultures. They're people who respect blades, much more so than firearms. And so you're carrying something like this, it gets their attention and it gets their respect.